Hey everybody, I'm Justin Bohn.
And I'm Mike Val.
And this is the Bohn and Zano Zone, where we are always on the lanes, off the charts, and on the mic. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bohn and Zano Zone podcast, presented by BuddiesProShop.com. Mike, how are we doing tonight?
Hi, buddy. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm not too shabby. Still rehabbing the arm.
Yeah, still.
So we're still on the shelf. Goal is to be able to bowl by May 21st, and then obviously shut it down until we go to the Nationals June 28th and the 29th.
Okay.
So that's the goal. We're doing it the smart way. We're not going to try to rush back into it and hurt myself again.
Yeah, that wouldn't be very smart.
No, and honestly, with the numbers that are coming out of South Point right now at Nationals, they look like they're a little bit on the soft side. Have you seen the numbers?
Yeah, I mean, there's been some pretty high scores, a lot of records broken.
Yeah.
I feel like. Did you see? I don't know if you saw it. The one guy today had the front nine and left the everyday pocket 5-7-10.
I did see that. That's he should get a free entry to next year's Nationals for that one.
Yeah, that's a very, very unfortunate break there.
That's a kick in the pants is what that is. But Barnes's number got beat. And the doubles number is over 1,500, I think, now.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot. That is a lot.
Yeah, 750 a guy at least.
Yeah, they look like they're – I'm not saying they're walled by any means, but they look like they're a little on the soft side. They do.
Yeah, the new all-events leader, Brent Cunningham, a part of the record-breaking team for the team all-events total, broken this year. The longest-standing record lasted for 26 years.
Yeah, and that got shattered this year.
Yeah.
So
I believe by 200-ish.
Yeah. So now do you think that somebody could put up 3,500 in the team event now?
I feel like with the scores that we've seen so far, I don't think it's out of the question. Has anybody bowled 34 yet?
Yeah, McNeil's team is 34
Okay.
or 70, I think it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's out of the question.
That's a lot, man. That's 100 over a guy. That's a lot.
Yeah. I don't know that it is with what we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm. So right now, Matt's team's still in the lead in the team event. Another good friend of ours, Pepe's on that team all events leaderboard right now.
Yep.
So he's on his way to, I think, eagle number 4. I think Anthony has 3 already.
Oh wow. Okay.
I think he has 2 or 3. I know he has a couple. He wins them. He's won them with Barta a couple times.
Okay.
But yeah, so Nationals is pretty cool. How about what's up in Wichita this week, bud?
What's up in Wichita? We got a week left till Nationals. Heading out about a week from today, about 5 hours from now. Heading out to Addison, Illinois, and Chicago Stardust Bowl for ITCs.
Nice.
Wrapping up our last week of practice.
Mm-hmm. How's the game? Feel sharp?
Yeah, I feel pretty good mentally. Figured something out with my pre-shot routine that it's a good trigger for me to get me into a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I can get to that vibe, that zone.
Yeah.
I feel like I can get there a little bit quicker.
Where it's just you just see the pins, you don't see nothing else. You're in the zone.
Yeah, and I feel like I can get there quite a bit quicker. and on a more frequent basis. Not like it's a snap of the fingers and it's going to happen, but
Yeah.
it feels pretty good. Might go bowl doubles tournament this weekend, just to kind of get some good competition reps in.
Yeah.
And then we leave Tuesday.
You leave Tuesday, and I know you're home the end of May.
Yeah, I'll be home somewhere around the 20th.
Yeah, well, I know. I say this. We have a party to go to that Sunday, the 22nd.
Yeah, so I will at least be home by then.
Yes, and I know you're going to be doing some bowling with me that Sunday as well.
Yeah, UBA match, right?
Yeah. By the way, we are 3 points out of the lead in our division now.
Perfect.
We had a big day Sunday.
Yeah,
and as Will would say, choo choo, all aboard.
Yes.
Here comes the train.
Yes.
So how about the train this weekend at the Kegel Training Center down in Florida?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Our main highlight, our main headline of the night.
Which one do you want to start with? Like, do you even call that an upset?
I don't know that you do. I think what's even more, I think the headline that's used for tonight's show, 3 defending champions advanced to round 8, is a pretty good statement.
Yeah.
I mean, that basically sums it up. I mean, we have the first winner, the second winner, and the third winner, and this is the 4th event, all advancing and winning and moving on to the round of 8. Does that experience make a difference?
Probably.
I would like to think so. I do think Belmo got a little unlucky. In that first game with the 7 pins, and he won the second game, so that could have changed the story there, because he made an errant shot in the roll off that ended up costing him.
Yeah.
I don't know that I call it an upset, besides Belmo just being the best player in the world, but we all know, we've all done it. Anything can happen in a 2-game match.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter who you're balling. So
exactly. So your pick is gone.
Yeah.
I think if you took the odds-on favorite, your bracket is busted, as they say in March Madness. Your bracket is busted.
Yeah, and I do think that a lot of people had favorited Belmo because of what he's done this season already.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like he put on a bad showing.
No.
I mean, he fought to the end, and like we said, it's flip a coin.
So now that Belmo's out of the tournament, does the Player of the Year race now gets a little more intense because Dom is still there?
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, Simonson hasn't bowled yet.
Simonson hasn't bowled yet. Prather's still there.
Shark is still there. Those are the only 3 we thought that could catch him.
But also keep in mind, I didn't realize this in some of our last conversations. There's also the tour finals.
Oh.
That all of these guys are still eligible for. That also counts as a PBA title.
So there's one more stop before the season's over.
Yeah, and it's only those guys in the top 8. And I don't know if Dom is still in that match. And to answer the question on the screen, did the 7 pins hurt Jason in that match? Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely, because I think if he carries 1 or 2 of them in the first game, there's no roll-off.
No, Bill's gone 0-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So the top 8 will go to the finals, to this other tournament, whatever you want to call it.
The tour finals, yes.
Tour finals.
Let me see who is qualifying for that. Because if Dom's in it. So it's Belmo, Simo, EJ, Kyle Troup, Kris Prather, Jacob Buttriff, Dom Barrett, and Tom Doherty. So, and it's based off of the points from the last 2 years.
All right. And that does count as the title. So let's just say Belmo does not perform well and Simonson or Dom take the playoffs.
Well, yeah. I mean, we also got to keep in mind about the fact that he has 4 titles, and he's still 4 titles with 1 major, 3 standard titles, and he's still quite a bit of ways ahead of second.
Yeah. So, but then again, if you look at the other stats, right? Let's just say Simonson takes the playoffs. That's going to be 3 6-figure paydays for Simonson.
Yeah.
So he's going to have the money lead, 2 majors, 1 standard title. That was the playoffs with a standard title, and then if he won the other one, that's 4.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, Simonson's is now ahead of Belmo in money.
Yes,
So
but it's not just the money they look at for Player of the Year.
no, the points is the other thing, and the titles.
Yeah. And the majors do way more in the points than the standard titles. So he may have.
Yeah.
He definitely has the point lead, right?
Who?
Simonson.
Belmo?
No, Simonson.
Belmo does.
Even with 2 majors.
Belmo has 4 titles.
Okay, so what's the difference on the points? How close is it?
So Belmo has 34,000. Simo's second with 26. EJ has 24.
Okay.
Don Barrett has 22. Kris Prather has 19.
Who is Simonson bowling in his match?
That I can look up. Give me a second. I gotta move over to PBA.com here.
All right. So on the left side of the bracket,
bowling Sean Maldonado.
All right, 2 2-handers on it.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Simon wins one of the next 2 events.
Yeah.
It's you're gonna really have to look at it. There's not a standout, and it's not just the playoffs or the tour finals. It's if he wins one or the other. I think he's closer than the other 2.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Well, then again, now if Dom goes win-win, you got to put Dom's name in there. Even Prather goes win-win, right?
You throw, I mean, any of those guys win one of these next 2 events, they make it closer.
Absolutely.
But I think Simonson has the best chance considering he only has to win one of the events.
Agreed. A little less pressure on him.
Let's keep in mind there is only 16 guys in this field, and there's only 8 guys in the next one.
And they are moving for the final, so they will bowl the first round at Kegel, right? And the finals of this show is not going to be at the training center. They are moving to that Bolero in Jupiter, right? Where they were last year.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it could be interesting.
Now, I mean, we have to talk about it really quick. And I'm sorry, and I'm gonna be a little G-rated here.
Okay.
Why is Rash such a child?
You know,
I mean, is there a reason for it? Like, I almost feel like he wants to be like what Weber was years ago, like the bad boy and outspoken and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's coming off like a pompous ass sometimes,
Yeah, I don't know that what he did and the way he did it. I mean,
again,
like I understand what happens, like slips, like when he said shit on TV, like it slips, it happens.
And they're human; it's going to happen,
right? Turning around and paying Tom Clark, good joke, good way to play it off, whatever. But I mean, he keeps continuing to reiterate his fines and statements on TV, the light moving, and then made a statement after that the one spare cost him, on top of the fact that Kyle bowled 260, 260.
Yeah, I know. Well, that really made a difference. Kyle missed 4 times in 2 games.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's really childish at this point that
it is.
It's still happening on every TV show. I don't know that he can go a TV show without making a statement like that now.
Yeah, and it's like he's complaining, and it's not a good look for him anymore. Like you're in that veteran category now on tour. You're not one of the new guys, right?
Right.
You're the experience. You're the vet now, and you're sounding and looking like a dope, basically. Like set the example for the guys that are coming out on tour now. Don't be that. Like, there's always an excuse for something, right?
Keep in mind, now that he is one of those veterans on tour and he's a future Hall of Famer, his voice is going to be heard a little bit more, and it's going to be more impactful on tour.
Exactly. Now, do you think that if he keeps this up, that eventually that may hurt him? We know he's eligible for the Hall of Fame. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, but there are certain guys, like I throw it back to baseball, that were just real jerks to the sports writers for all the years and never got in the Hall of Fame because they were complete dicks to them, basically, to say bluntly. You think that by Rash constantly getting worse now, that this may be like, you're just going to wait. We're going to put somebody else before you. Put somebody else before. They make him wait a couple years and really
it's possible. I mean, because I know you have to be 40.
Yes. So he's right around there.
I think he's 39 now.
Yeah, he's my age. He's right around my age.
And I know that Wes, I believe, was inducted the first year he was eligible.
He was.
So, I mean, it is possible. I mean, who,
Do
who
you
knows?
do you think that they'll ever reach a point like the tour is just going to say, "Look, we've had enough," and they're not going to put him in, like because of
I
if
don't
this gets
think so.
worse, like if this gets worse and worse and worse, or do you think he does something more drastic than he did with Matt on TV, where he serves a bigger suspension? Like he really like explodes on one of the shows.
I don't think it's out of the question. Um, I think if a statement like that was made again, his suspension would be even more.
Yeah.
I mean, but who knows?
Well, I'm not upset that he lost. I'm going to say that politely.
Yeah, and I know that Kyle put on a pretty damn good performance,
Oh
and
God, he looked really good.
I mean, I'm happy for Kyle because he put on a damn good performance.
Yes, he did. He looked sharp, and it was great. So we'd like to see the Fro moving forward as well.
And I also think like he's such a good entertainer. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he is really, really good for TV.
he's
And
an act, is what he is.
yeah,
Like you don't know what you're going to get from him, but you know you're not going to get his opponent. You know what I mean?
right.
You're going to get him taking the pick out of his pocket and picking his fro, or him high fiving the crowd. You're not going to get him whining about a bad shot or the light moving or a cameraman moving. He's a show.
Right. And I was super happy. I loved the fact of what he did throughout the TV show, throughout the commercial breaks. He really got the crowd going and
Mhm.
he bowled well and it showed.
Yes,
Um, I think I think he's really good for TV.
he's good for
And
the tour. He's really good
yes,
for the tour.
yeah, and I love the fact that he is bowling well and has been bowling well because I think he is so good for not only the tour but for the sport of bowling.
He should be the face of bowling as a whole right now.
Yeah,
He
and
was
I mean he's not only is he good on the lanes and a good entertainer, but
he's
he's
great off the
also
lanes.
he's a good people person too.
I actually hung out with him last year at nationals. Myself and Jack and Jimmy Rogers and our group, we were in the pool with him. And I
Yeah,
mean, he's the nicest guy in the world. He's just down to earth, really cool. You know, you would never know like what he is by just talking to him. Like he doesn't flaunt it or anything. He's such a
right,
down to earth guy.
right. He's human,
He is. And you
and
know what? Go ahead, go ahead.
and I think that's what makes it so great is that his personality really shows on TV, and he's not afraid to let loose. He can still perform while doing it,
What
and it's
what's the line, Justin? Act like you've been there before, right?
yeah,
And he's nice and calm, and then boom, when it's a big shot, that's when he gives you the business, right?
yeah, and he lets the camera know as
I'm
well.
here. Yeah.
I mean, and they said it multiple times on the show. He always knows where the camera is.
Absolutely. And what else is good? Like he's not the typical blonde hair, blue eyes guy, right?
No,
I mean, look at him. He looks like I don't even know what you want to call him, but he has a big afro. He has the beard, like,
right,
and the outfits he wears. He's great. Like he's what his father was 40. I mean, even look at anybody who's watching. Go look up Guppy Troup for when he bowled on tour with the sunglasses, the pants, right? Kyle's taking that times 100, and he's becoming the household name. Like that's what you want to see.
he's just
And
a
it's a
fan favorite.
Yeah, and it's a
And
shame that ESPN or Fox they don't like. I'll use ESPN. Like it's a shame that they won't give us a clip on Sports Center, like a top 10 or whatnot. But he would be great on Sports Center.
and I do think that something like that did happen in the past. I just don't know when, what, how, why,
Well,
for
Anthony
what.
Nyer made the top 10 when he made the 710.
Which
That's a given.
right. I mean, we're talking about something that's happened 4 times on TV.
Correct. But I mean, look at it. Like if Kyle Troop was to win, let's just say he shoots 300 on TV, he beats the guy 300 299. He runs it out and like jumped into the crowd. Like, how is that not getting on Sports Center? That is great for the PBA and great for bowling in general.
Great for
Hypothetical example.
great for sports. It's great for entertainment.
You know, I talked to a customer today, and I had a Zoom call with him. So obviously, this is my office. So
Right.
I'm sitting here in my office, and the guy goes, "You know, I love the basketball and the soccer ball on your shelf back there." So we started talking about bowling. And he asked me a question. He goes, "Why does bowling never get any kind of like credit or anything?" And I said to him, because nobody understands this about professional bowling. You're not guaranteed your $43 million contract like a basketball player or a football player is, right? If
Right.
you, Justin Bohn, is bowling on tour and you go out there and bowl 164 under, you don't get a paycheck.
Right.
Your salary is not guaranteed, just like a golfer or a tennis player. Nobody gets that because it's an individual game. And I was explaining that to the guy today, and he had no clue about this. He goes, "Well, it really makes sense then." I said, "It does." I said, they don't bowl for nearly as much money as the other sports. That's the main reason why we don't get any credit.
Yeah. And those numbers that they get paid by or paid for by Storm or Brunswick or Motive,
Yeah.
those numbers aren't released to the public. It's not
No.
like, oh, Sean Rash is signed with the Seattle Seahawks or signed with Team Storm, and they offered him $60,000 a year, and we're just throwing numbers out here right now. But like that's not a bowling headline.
No.
When someone switches companies.
No, they don't have a press conference and a video of signing the contract or whatnot. I'll tell you this, and I'm not going to name the person, but somebody we both know, when they signed their contract, their national staff deal, they were getting paid. Okay, they were getting $500 a week to be a national staffer. That's it. So, folks, just think of that: $500 a week, and you're a national staffer on a ball company. Is that paying your bills?
No,
it's not.
No, but the philosophy that they have is, keep in mind, they're also bowling for a paycheck every week. So I mean, I'm pulling up the stats here and looking at earnings.
But Justin, just do the math really quick. If you're getting $500 a week, right? What's a national stop? $375 to enter?
Could be 500.
Okay, so let's say it's the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open is $500 to enter. A major's $500.
Okay.
All right. So you're in for $500. We've talked about this before. Your flight, your expenses, your hotel, your food. If you want to have a drink or two. So let's just say you go out there and you're the red leader. You don't get a check.
Right.
That $500 you're getting from your company, that's not getting you back to even. Like, it's a nice little perk. But people don't get that, and that's why, like, I think there's more pressure on an athlete, a bowler, a golfer, a tennis player on an individual level. If they don't perform, they don't get paid.
Right.
End of story.
Right. I mean, people are walking away with 50,000. I mean, that's a good number. I mean, they're not really. If I'm going right around 16th, the guys that are making this, 13th, 42, 47, 54, 33. That's with no TV shows. 73, 31, 69, 22, 30. Now we're down to 21st, 28. But you get what I'm saying. Like, they're not making substantial money.
No.
But
how many guys on the money list have six figures already this year? 5, maybe?
Belmo, Simo, EJ, Dom Barrett, Chris Prather,
5,
Tommy Jones,
6,
and Sean is at 99.
So 7 guys have made $100,000 this year.
Yeah,
it's not bad, but still, how many guys are bowling on tour?
Right, and I do think that number is increasing because I mean, when you look at last year, now granted, I know there was a lot more money in last year's season with multiple events that paid quite a bit of money. Kyle Troup, $496,000.
But he also won every six-figure event that wasn't a major, basically.
Right. He won the playoffs, won the players for $250,000.
Won the players. Yep. So that's $350 right there.
Yeah. So he still made another $150 in other places. Keep that in mind.
Correct.
Chris Vi had 125.
He won the U.S. Open.
Tom Doherty had 197.
That was the World Championship.
Yep. Jacob Buttriff, 111.
He won something big last year. Didn't he win a major last year? Or he won the Masters the year before.
Jacob Buttriff did not win a title last year.
And he won that much.
Yeah.
Well, he had a couple runner-ups in the majors last year.
He had
Didn't
one championship round appearance
That's it?
in
I
16
thought he
events.
had more than that list. Well, he was on the show at the U.S. Open with Nair because
Okay, yes. Then this isn't right because he also made the show at the World Championship. Finished second at the World
yeah.
Championship, finished second at the Open. Yeah, okay. So that's not right. Okay.
That's fake news.
Simo, 188. This is 6th place in the points still. All 6 of them are over 100,000. EJ 84, Chris Prather 91, Sam Cooley 122, Jesper 102. Tommy Jones was 11th in points last year with 31,000. Okay?
Okay.
Now I'm just going down the list here. 66, 55, 61, 151. Second place at the Players, Dick Allen.
Jesus.
Okay, makes sense. 53, 69, 59, 62, 66. 48. We had one with 22 here. And then it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But I mean, the guys that were bowling good were making 50 or 60, and there were a handful of guys that were over 100.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like quite a few were over 100.
Well, interesting. Very good conversation to start the show tonight.
So
Very good conversation. Very good conversation to start off tonight's show.
Yeah, I agree. I think overall bowling's going in the right direction.
I do too. And now
I still think it is.
There is. So now we have about 30 minutes left, right?
Yeah, I mean, we still got to talk about
we got the other two matches, right?
We got Dom Barrett and Prather.
Prather, my man crush.
Yeah, we know.
So good.
Match with Dom Barrett. Dom dominated the first game for the most part, and Packy made a late run.
He did.
Winning game 2, went into the roll-off, and Packy started with a solid 9, and
that's all she wrote.
Yeah, his ball like hooked out of nowhere on the left lane in the roll-off. And Dom basically needed 20 in the 10th and dead laced the first one. Close game, but still, just coming down on a roll-off another game.
Yeah.
And Prather
does what Prather does. I mean,
Prather won 2-0, but I don't know that his performance was dominant.
It wasn't very shark-like.
No, I don't think so. I think the first game was pretty close. 2-0 to 190 maybe, 2-0 to 210. It wasn't really that far off.
It wasn't a beating, no.
And the second game, what changed or what really gave Prather the win was Brad Miller missing the head pin and then missing the spare in the 9th frame. Because I believe it was single digits at that point.
Yeah, you can't give Prather an opening like that. Can't do it.
No.
He will jump.
And then once he did, it was all she wrote.
It was see you later, and Shark's got to go to the round of 8.
Yeah.
My guy, so you had Belmo to win the thing. My pick is bowling Saturday, I believe.
Who's your pick?
TJ.
Oh, that's right.
Tommy bowls Saturday. The show's on Saturday, right?
Yeah. Who was my feel good pick?
Oh, mine was Packy.
He's out.
You had Belmo. I don't remember who your feel good. Come on, we have fans here. Anybody remember who Justin's feel good pick was to win the playoffs?
I think it was AJ.
It might have been AJ.
Yeah, and I mean, it's another match that I'm excited to see. Coming up on Saturday, Simo's bowling Sean Maldonado, Butters is bowling AJ Johnson, EJ Tackett bowling Jesper, and Tommy Jones and Kyle Sherman. Predictions for next week?
TJ.
Okay. TJ over Kyle Sherman.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to go with Simonson over Maldonado. But Simonson's just he's too sharp right now.
Yeah, he's second in the points right now and just on a high. So that would be my guess as well.
So we're both agreeing Simonson?
Yep.
Butters is bowling. I'm sorry you said this already. I don't remember. Butters is bowling. AJ, right?
Johnson.
I want to see AJ Johnson win. He's.
I think AJ is so past overdue. I mean,
Yeah.
like overdue isn't even the word anymore.
Is he above the Richie Wolf status now?
I don't know that I personally can answer that question because I didn't watch Richie Wolf in the Richie Wolf era.
Okay, but you're watching the AJ Johnson era right now.
I'm watching the AJ Johnson era, and there are players on tour that have won titles that AJ is not better is better than.
Way more talented than.
Right.
Agreed.
So
AJ Johnson is the guy in that match.
Yeah, he made his first show when he was a senior in college at the 2015 Masters.
He was the runner-up. He lost to Belmo on that
He
show.
finished second place. Yeah. And I mean, he's been bowling for so long, and he's been
a Team USA guy. I mean, God, he has all the experience in the world.
He's a household name if you watch bowling.
He's the guy. Like we said, Troup's the face of bowling with the outfits, the hair, right? And then you look at AJ, he is like the cover of like Maxim for guys. Like he would be on the cover of a magazine.
Right. I mean, works out a bunch.
He's a gym rat.
Right. And I think, I don't know, I almost forget that he doesn't have a title sometimes.
It's scary that he doesn't have a title.
It's really scary. I mean, the fact that a guy like that is not eligible for the Tournament of Champions blows my mind. I mean, it is.
It is.
He's got six top 10 finishes in this year alone.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait.
What are we reporting fake news?
No, that was Jacob.
Oh,
my bad. Johnson has 4 top 10 finishes this year.
Jesus.
And made the show at 2 majors.
Yeah, when they get tougher, he gets tougher as they get tougher.
Yeah, I really want to see him perform well in a setting like this.
And let
bear
loose.
Down, screw his head on, and just run him
Go
over.
at it.
I also think he's one that's good for bowling. I think
absolutely is
very similar to Kyle. I think it's very good entertainer. And he's someone that I want to see. I like seeing AJ on the show.
Yeah,
I do.
Well, he's another one that you never know what's going to come out of his mouth.
Right. And I'd really like to see him get that first one. And I think an event like this is a good opportunity because of how short the format is.
Yeah, and you know what?
The matches.
But there's still going to be the haters out there going to say, "Oh well, it took him 9 games to win a title." Really, it doesn't matter. He's that good.
He still had to bowl the entire season.
Exactly.
And in the top 16 in points to get there, so it was way more than 9.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Sounds like Ryan Schaefer. Kevin, if you want to be a little more descriptive on that, what you're saying, we'd love to hear that because we have a lot of thoughts on Ryan and Ryan's career.
I think just like a guy that's been so close to winning a major title. Very similar conversation with AJ not having any titles.
Ryan Schaefer is probably the biggest what if, as Jeff said it, the biggest what if in bowling history.
Yeah.
And who was the last match? Jesper and who else?
Jesper and EJ, is that right? Yes, EJ.
I like Tackett. He's too sharp as well right now. I mean, he got to the dance a couple times this year. I have an itch. I've scratched my back. But sorry. But yeah, only me would do this.
Yeah, I know.
He looked great on the double show. He looked absolutely fantastic on the double show with Marshall.
Yeah. And I really think that Jesper is a hit or miss kind of guy. I feel like when we've seen him bowl well, he runs them over. And when
I think you froze for a second. Yeah, Justin froze for a second. Oh, you froze for a second, bud.
So when I think of like Jesper, I feel like it's a hit or miss. He's either running them over
or he doesn't have it. I think he froze again, but I think that's what he's trying to say is like when he has it, he has it. And I kind of agree with him. And when he doesn't have it, you froze again, bud. Are you back in New Jersey or you're freezing? You back in Jersey or in Wichita? Where are you?
I'm still in Wichita.
All right,
I have 3 bars on my internet. 3 out of 3.
Are you trying to say when Jesper has it, he has it, he runs them over?
And when he
But
doesn't,
when
he doesn't.
he has to, so like when his A game is in play, it's get out of the way.
Right.
And so he doesn't like his B, his C, his D game really isn't as sharp as the A game, obviously.
No, it's not really grinding for a check or grinding to make match play. I feel like it's either top 5 or
it's all or nothing.
Or where are you at? Hero or zero. I think that's what makes that match specifically. If Jesper's got good ball reaction, look out.
If Jesper has to look with urethane towards the gutter,
look out.
And the thing at Kegel, those lanes are so pristine. The pin decks are immaculate. I mean, he's going to throw pins all over the place in that building.
Yeah.
I like to see EJ get to the final 8. And, yeah, man, that's my pick. Those are the 4 I like. I think we're in agreement on our 4 this week.
Okay. All right.
So I want to bring up something that you have no idea where I'm going with this, because I've told you about this briefly.
No, you didn't tell me what we're talking about here.
So this will be a good conversation to end the show with, and I'm sure people that are watching, they can chime in with this one.
Okay.
I sent you and your brother a screenshot of this, one of these messages on Facebook this week.
Okay.
A legend of the game. What I'm going to say is one of the greatest shot makers I've ever seen throw a bowling ball. And I have the privilege of crossing with him at the U.S. Open one year at Carolier. None other than Brian Voss.
Okay.
I mean, arguably one of the greatest right-handed bowlers to ever throw a bowling ball.
Yeah.
Smooth as silk, shot maker, Brian Voss, legend, right?
Right.
So Brian doesn't compete anymore that we know of. I don't think he bowls in a 50 tour anymore. But Brian, being a traditionalist and from back in the day, I don't think BV likes the direction the bowling is going, especially with the bowling balls being banned and whatnot. And he's been very vocal on social media the past week.
Okay.
And I want to read a couple things to you and get your thoughts on it.
Let me see if I can pull it up on Facebook here real quick.
Yeah,
I know I can find it.
If you're friends with Voss, you can see the 3 last posts that he's written. One of them is about the Masters.
Okay, I have the one about the Masters.
Yep, there's the Masters. And then the other one that I liked was about fairness.
Okay, is this April 8th or April 9th?
2 days ago. The post starts off, for those of you that contributed to my recent post about fairness in our sport, I thank you for the answers.
Okay, let me pull up a screen share here.
Because and I found this stuff really interesting. Again, this is coming from a guy who his voice is weighed a lot in the sport of bowling.
Right.
Right. And again, he's not really bowling competitively anymore that we know of. And if he is, I'm sorry, I'm giving fake information. I don't want to take him off. But, and you can scroll on this, right, bud? There you go.
Yep.
So I'm going to make some comments about the field and more questions. First, let's assume for a moment that studying tribiology in a way that would create an environment where change in the initial strategy of an oil pattern was minimized to almost, as he air quotes, no change is possible. If we wanted to challenge ourselves to test the efficiency, we would create a flat pattern on a flat lane. Stand where you want, do what you want, but the one who conforms to the exactness will prevail. That's a very true statement right there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the exact same speed, the exact same release, the exact same lay-down point, etc. This would be the ultimate test of efficiency. This cannot be disputed. Again, he's 100% correct, right?
Yeah.
However, is that what, quote, competitive bowling is supposed to be? In my opinion, no. Perhaps for the Olympics, yes, but for the concept of margin of error presents many infinite, I'm sorry, Justin, scenarios. When a player has the option of remaining with zero margin of error as opposed to creating a specific way to attack said strategy and have an increased margin of error, logic says you must learn to do it in this way. It's odds and statistics that don't lie. For the layman out there, if margin of error was in such a way that the ball must be started on the second board and go out to the first board, it would encourage one to learn it. Correct.
Yeah.
If the margin of error existed where at the arrows you tried to play 17 and the break point was at 5, you would then be encouraged to learn how to do it. Otherwise, you are forced to have less margin of error. That's the beauty of the sport. Spinning a bowling ball any way that will increase margin of error is the epitome of greatness, combined with those that accept less margin of error and rely on exactness of their technique. Please argue with me.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know what to say to that, but wow.
Yeah. Wow is right.
We know that Voss has been very outspoken since he kind of went away about the evolution of the game with the two-handers and whatnot, and whatnot. I don't know how to take that.
Yeah. I mean, he does have a point that it's not about exactness all the time. It's
No.
about how you spin the ball or hook the ball to get it to create the most margin of error instead of relying on exactness.
So
And
can
I
I?
think that's what makes some guys on tour who may not have the most pristine form able to compete out there because they are smart enough. And I think this is what makes Belmo and Simonson really, really good on a whole nother level, is being able to create something that nobody else can create.
Hello, Chucky.
Hello, Chuck. But like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yes. So
Like, go ahead.
I want to go to the other one he wrote.
Okay.
Can you screen share the second one? I'll read it, but I want to read
Yeah.
this one. But this was in regards to the Masters, Justin. I think you want to go up on this one.
Yep. Okay.
Are you ready? There we
Yep.
go. I loved watching the Masters today. Fabulous drama, fabulous shot making, the infinite. Why can't I talk
Oh,
today?
that word's
Types
hurting
of
me
the infinite types of shot manufacturing in golf. You can see the outline of the course, the various hills, the best places to miss, etc. Do some of you realize that when we play our sport of bowling, we are playing on a three-dimensional graph of friction that represents hills and valleys? 100% right. And Walter Ray even said that with the colored oil. And Walter hates the color oil, if you remember, he said that.
Yeah.
All right. There are visible hills and valleys that must be figured out to obtain the highest margin of error and reduce the margin for failure. Turn the graph of oil that you used to look at upside down, and you'll see a graph of friction instead of volumes of oil. Factor in oil depletion, and the graph is a constant state of changing that creates discrepancies from the left side of the lane and the right. My, oh my, how is Brian Voss correct on that? My reference to the Masters is this. Please expand your thinking. If there was a movement to develop a yet untested oil combined with a yet untested ball surface with a yet untested lane surface where modern day volumes of oil are reduced to less than 3 mils, what would this, quote, grassroots movement do for the sport of bowling? The ultimate goal is to keep using oil with a solution of tribiology provides for an oilless lane with topography that can be displayed on the actual lane. There have been no efforts to the latter, so until then, we kind of have to use oil, but we should always strive to have it so that it never changes. Opponents may say. Transition and learning to make adjustments has always been a part of the game. Imagine this. If you will, you forward thinkers, if we can get into it where it almost never changes, you can walk into a competitive supporting bowling center and each pair will be a unique challenge displayed using a graph of friction. The maintenance from the owners is dramatically reduced, the house balls come back into play, and for those who need to understand a graph of friction, it will be displayed. Please imagine, if you will, nothing needs to be invented, it already exists. Peace.
Wow.
Justin, again, wow, right?
Yeah. That's a statement. And I do see where he's going with it because I
I
think
do
I
too.
think he does have a point. Um, Imagine a center where you see this or
Yes.
you see this, right? Imagine if you had never had to oil a lane. Imagine if a bowling ball hooked in the same spot with no oil on the lane, but because of the topography of the lane, it was able to create the same thing.
Didn't they do a thing a couple years ago at Kegel with Weber where Pete went in and he bowled on a pair of lanes and they gave him whatever Kegel's normal topography was, but they were able to change the topography on the right lane, and it just showed like he hit the same board with the same speed, but because they changed the topography on the next lane or the next pair, the ball
Yeah.
did a completely different reaction. It was like night
Yeah.
and day difference.
Yeah. Imagine a 18 lane bowling center where every lane was different and you could visibly see it. Do you know what that could do for our sport?
Oh God. Oh my God.
Imagine, you know how many people that I've had conversations with have no idea about oil on the lane?
And that's what we go back to what we talked about a couple weeks ago. Like with my tournament, people thought, well, because you added volume, you blocked out the side of the lane. No, nobody understands that topography plays a huge part in bowling,
Right.
and people don't even know what topography means. Seriously,
And this is people that bowl.
okay, these are bowlers that are 230 bowlers. Well, the topography of the building. What do you mean topography? What? Like,
How do you
how
not
do
know
you
what that
not know
is?
what that is?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I want to propose this, Bud.
Okay.
And I don't know if he's watching. I know he does watch whenever it was he's 3 hours behind us in California. But I don't think you'll be opposed to this. If Robert Smith is watching, or when Robert Smith watches this, I know Robert is very close with BV.
Okay.
Robert, I am encouraging you to try to pull a string to get Brian Voss to sit with us for 1 hour and let's talk about this because we're not disagreeing with anything Brian said by any means.
No. No.
But
I think I think it's such a great topic for discussion
yes,
in the bowling world. I
it is.
we're trying to find ways to make this sport on a different level. And I mean, like he said, they're a ball that hasn't been created yet, a surface that hasn't been created yet, a lane that hasn't been created yet, oil that hasn't been created yet. None of this has been created or thought up of. So we're all imagining a bowling world like this. How different would it really be? Would bowling get to that same level because as golf, because you can visibly see the friction?
But that's the other thing. Like going back to that, right? And this is what Walter said with the colored oil. If you remember, he goes, the colored oil is the worst thing they could have done because people think, well, they see it on the lane. Well, there's a puddle in the middle. That's not a puddle. Like, and
No,
Walter called it a trough. You throw it in there, it's not a trough. Like, that's
no,
flat. No, that's not what it's going to do by any means possible.
right,
So, and that's the beauty of our sport too is you're going in blind. You don't know what you're getting. You can't see. Me and you go bowl the nationals, or we go bowl, whatever the holiday doubles, right? We can't see the oil on the lane. We don't know what we're getting. It's a blind package.
right.
That's the beauty of the game. I love Voss's thoughts. I do.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting.
So I want to invite personally. Would love to invite Brian Voss to sit with us 30 minutes, to an hour, whatever his schedule permits. And we will, and Justin, I think you would make yourself available on his availability.
I can see what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously within reason,
Yep.
but I would love to invite Brian Voss to sit with us and talk about this more. And I would even bring Robert back.
Yeah, I think it could be a nice round table per se.
Yeah, and I talk to Robert on a weekly basis. Robert and I are pretty close.
Yep.
Robert's thoughts on how to fix the sport is the pins. And if you listen to what Robert Smith has to say about the bowling pins, your head would spin to what he
Yeah.
wants, what he thinks to what he wants to do, it's insane.
Really?
So it's very interesting. I'll call Robert and get him to come on, but I will also say to him, get Brian Voss.
Okay.
And I know
Well,
he's kind of secluded, out of the light. But I think with the way everything's going, with the balls and the patterns, and now he's being very outspoken online.
he's come back into it.
Oh my God, absolutely. And that would be a great roundtable, like you said. So personal invitation for Brian Voss to join us whenever he wants.
All right.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
You have to go bowl league, right?
Yes. We had a great discussion talking about 3 past champions of the PBA playoffs advancing to the round of 8. Tune in on Saturday as the second part of the round of 16 will be taking place on FS1. Also, 9:30 Eastern on CBS. Once again, episode 3 of How We Roll, the bowling sitcom.
Can I give 2 more quick ones before we wrap it up? I'll be really quick, I promise.
Go ahead.
I walk into the bowling center last night, the bowl league, and Johnny Petraglia grabs my ear.
Okay.
And Johnny says to me, I just want to let you know, I made it to professional baseball on opening day. I said, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't know what he was talking about, you know?
Right.
He goes to his phone and he goes, just listen. So in the Pittsburgh Pirates broadcast on opening day,
Okay.
they were talking about bowling somehow.
Okay.
And the one commentator for the Pirates said, yeah, you know, you gotta, if you're going bowling, you have to use a fingertip ball with the finger grips in there, and you got to throw it like Johnny Petraglia.
Wow.
How great is that?
That's awesome.
Johnny P getting a shout out on opening day in Pittsburgh about bowling.
That's bowling getting up in the world right there.
That is getting it up in the world. That's fantastic for John. He was loving it. He showed everybody in the building the clip last night. That's great for John.
I believe it. That's awesome.
And I don't remember the other one I was going to say, so let's just finish it up then.
Okay, I had 2, and now you only had 1. All right.
I can't remember the other one. I'm sorry, but let's wrap it up. We'll be back next week, hopefully with Brian Voss and Robert Smith.
Yes, and as in the midst of packing for nationals, I will make time for this show.
And if you're not, what we'll do when you get back from nationals, and don't forget, we are doing our 50 best from every state show. Maybe Chucky Gardner can help us with that one.
Yeah, maybe you can. We'll reach out to him. He's coming on for the draft in a couple weeks in the middle of May.
Yes, sir.
As for now, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Bohn and Zano Zone podcast. BuddiesProShop.com. Coupon code Zone5 off. Save 5% off your next order. And that's about all I got, Mike.
Justin, go bowl league. I'm going to go have some dinner, watch the Mets, and we will be back next Tuesday. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. That was the other thing. I remember. Really quick. Remember the finals of the playoffs.
Okay.
I will be doing a live commentary of the playoffs.
Okay.
With none other than Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Okay.
I went on John's show last week. It was a hit. I don't know if you saw it. But Johnny and I are going to do a live broadcast, and we are going to do the play-by-play of the playoffs, of the final match of the playoffs. That you don't want to miss.
That sounds pretty good.
Yep. Until next Tuesday, we'll be back. Justin, bowl well tonight.
Yep. Thank you. And we will see you guys next time.
See everybody next Tuesday.